paintings in Backdrop Designer as it stands and see how close I can actually get to same result. So first things first, going to start with the sky, and up here, now this is the reference, by the way, I'm using. It's from Maddie's Twitch stream, Behance stream, and basically I'm going to try and do the same sort of thing as best as possible and hopefully get some similar results. This will help me refine Backdrop Designer a little bit more, and good luck to me, I guess. So let's go for some fog. Now in Background Designer, you've got these two gradients for the sky, but then you can click here to choose colour for the brushes, and the brushes are made up of a kind of mix of 4 tones, and you can change these tones. This first tone is kind of like the main base tone, and if you control click it, it will transfer that colour to the rest, right? And that just makes it easier to make all tones the same and ultimately turn the whole thing into one. You can also like take away the effect of the other tones, and you're pretty much left with the same kind of thing. You just have this one tone driving it. So I'm going to use it that way for a while. I just want to make this kind of patchy sky. I'm going to go for a low opacity. Now it works very similar to Photoshop, but it's kind of like really kind of mouse driven, predefined big color brushes, kind of like a sticker album or something like that. So I've got the background sky in. I want to do this back row of trees here, and probably then this layer, a bit of the ground and the tree, and then a bit of foreground. It's going to be tricky to make this look as much as the same. I've got a limited number of brushes. I can't do brush strokes like you would in Photoshop, so it's a good challenge. So let's see. And the photo's not perfectly straight, so my OCD is kicking in a little bit. I'm going to fix that. There's no way I'm going to draw that at a slant, so I'm kind of having to tilt a bit. Right, so the background, so I'm at layer 10. I'm going to go layer, I should have started at the very bottom layer, but it's fine. I might figure out a way of like copying contents of one layer to another later. It's not impossible. I just need to redefine the numbers of whatever plots you've put in, and that would just work. So that's not too difficult for me. So let's see, let's do some trees. Now we've got these trees. I'm just going to press F2 to reset these, and tab to get some random colors, and 0 to get full opacity back. I'm just scrolling out a bit and see if I can kind of make these tones. So we've got that whitish tone as a kind of green, a yellow, greeny yellow, like that. And then it goes to, I think it might be this tone, no, this one, yeah, it goes a little bit darker. It's much more of a greeny yellow. I can kind of get what I want by changing the blending here. I don't really need to see the bottoms. I just want to start kind of plotting this down somewhere around about the middle, and I'll kind of layer it up. I'm going to press X every now and again just to flip this around. Right, and I'm not going to worry about these stems at the bottom. I don't really see those. Right, now I'm going to do a little bit of a darker tone here and here. See if I can mix these up a bit better. This one doesn't have much of an effect. Okay, let's go 4, but less opacity. Just X every now and again just to flip. Right, and that will just tile itself round. I'm going to go even darker with this one now. Maybe 7. A little bit more bluish to towards that direction, and 3, reduce the size a bit, start in that, and I think that's pretty decent. Now there's a few extra bits that I want to add. So there's some foliage here. I'm just going to press tab round about these colours, and it should hopefully sample some colours that are approximate, I think. So mode 3 samples the document, mode 1 is random, and mode 2 samples nearby. Confusing, yeah, but I'll make that more clear later. Okay, I want to change a couple of colours. That one, let's go for the lighter one there. I'll just choose some colours from each of these and see which one gives me what. Let's choose that one there, and maybe a bit of a lighter one there. That's not too bad. Put the opacity right down. I just want to like patch in a few random bits. We'll get there with this. We will get there with this. So these seem to be the highlighted bits. Now, I've been really inspired by Maddie's work, and it's not normal that I get that kind of fun side back into drawing, but it does remind me of when I was in my teens and I was watching Bob Ross a lot, The Joy of Painting, and just made me want to just like learn how to do that sort of art, like really quick and easy, cartoony, but semi sort of realistic-y, sort of stylized, sort of just a mix of good studies, right? They're just good studies, and yeah, it's nice to get back into that. I really enjoy it. And me being a little bit of a technical guy, I'm bringing some of that back to help you guys make art. And this is the ultimate tutorial combining the powers of Bob Ross, Maddie, and my technical know-how, I guess. So just clicking these little brushes for the little highlights. It's not the same as tap 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 with the brush pen. It's very methodical, just checking and clicking, so it's a bit easier in the eye, I think, if you're kind of new to painting or anything like that. It's a good way to see. I'm just layering in these highlights, and having this tonal control is just a really nice way of, I don't know what I'm trying to say. You know, you can just check and compare. It's different from brushing willy-nilly and just hoping that things work. So I can fade that out, I think. Yeah, turn that into faded mode. Okay. I barely know how to use my own software. That's how it goes. That's better. Right. But cool, that's kind of that background layer. So I've done the sky, and I've done this kind of row, and there's some nice little brown bits here I want to introduce. So let's see what I've got. I could always just turn this round like that. Right, so I've got the fog. I wish I could move layers. That's what I really need. I need to be able to copy and paste layers. So that is something I can work on now. I can use the sky layer, the fog layer here, and just go on top of that. That's fine. So I'll choose some browns. First I'll just like alt click. I'll just alt click a brown color, or sorry, I'll choose a brown color for this one, and then I control click it to transfer this color to the rest of them. That's kind of like the master color, right? And I transfer that. I'll press F2 to reset these. I really need some reset buttons in this. So this is a work in progress tool. Right, I'm going to put those, I guess they're just like left off halfway, and then my ratio is different. I'm wider than the photograph, so you can see if I basically made this wider, as wide as, that's near enough, then it's landing somewhere around about here, right, somewhere here I think it was, but I'll make it this gap here, I don't know, or yeah, I'll just put it here, right, and I'm just gonna put in some shapes like this. And my document's going to be twice the resolution of HD resolution, so I can basically scale this down later and get a little bit of anti-aliasing back. That's like the pixels will blend a little bit, so I've purposely worked on double resolution for HD. I'm just using like any brushes that are available to me. I know there's a couple that are quite good. I'm trying to think what one is it, a land one? Yeah, this one I like. So you can go really small with the brushes and use them for pretty much anything. I say they're brushes, they're more like stickers, and there's plenty more that I can make, and some of them can be much more brush-like. So this is kind of like the improved version of Blip Paint, which I was working on just about half a year ago to keep me occupied during COVID and lockdown, and I just needed something to do like that. Just turning this mountain upside down so I can steal some of these tones from it. I'm trying to, there we go, okay, so you can kind of like filter out bits you don't need, and I just want to do like little spiky bits like that, totally hacking the brushes. So yeah, I was working on Blip Paint and I decided that it was too complicated, way too complicated, there's too many things. I just got very kind of involved, and things not working the way I intended, and I still have these issues, but the way I've designed this one is that it just works and is a lot simpler. Okay, I still got the big panel of shortcuts there, but it's up to you whether you want to read them or not. Everyone's got a very low attention span these days, at least I have. Okay, so that's the background sort of done there. I can press P and I can sort of see any parallax. Got a tiny bit of parallax here. It's pretty cool. Right, what's next? I guess we've done that. I think this layer needs a little bit of fog in front of it, so I'm going to go back to the fog brush. One of these foggy brushes, quite like that one. And if I alt click this color and then control click it, it's going to transfer it there, or I can use the tones or whatever. So I'll press F2 to reset these tones, and I'm just going to use 2 for the opacity level. No, 1 actually, 1, and I just want to foggy this up just a little bit, just to blend it, because it is kind of lost a tiny bit into the backdrop, just a tiny bit kind of misty. Right, that's cool, that's that done. Now this tree, I think it's got some grass behind it, so I'll go layer 13. I should have really started down here. I'm missing all these layers, and I do need the ability to transfer them. Right, I'm going to go for some grassy effect. So I've got some grasses, not the best. I'll press tab to get some random, 0 to get my opacity back, F2 to reset any tones. Maybe it should reset this transparency adjuster as well. I'm going to take some notes. So layer swapping, copy paste or whatever, copy paste. I need reset. I need to reset the transparency with F2 as well, and I think that was it for now. There's some other stuff I still want to do. Alright, grass. Okay, so press tab, sample some colors. That one's pretty close, and we're on layer 13. I'm going to make this really small, and I guess I'll just start plotting down some base grass here. Something to get me started. Right, white I'm going to swap for a kind of yellowy green. I don't see very many plants there, so I think that's this colour. Yeah, so I'm going to make that kind of brownish. It looks kind of August-ish, like late summer. Oh, it's quite. Oh, it looks like a reflection. I like the little happy accidents. This is a pretty picture just as it stands. Right, make sure I don't get too thinking about that. I'm going to fade that background out so that I just have like the grassy bit. It's already quite nice. I need a darker green. It's good to stay away from those really saturated tones. Try and make things a bit more pastel-y than you'd expect, because it tends to kill things a bit. So this is kind of a unique way of painting. It's a technical artist's way of painting. Imagine combining a programmer with an artist. That's basically what I've become. Well, it's fine. Right, so I'm going to choose some land. Go for this chunk of land because I just need something to occupy the foreground a bit. That's actually, colour-wise, that's not too far off. There is a little bit of that. So I'm just going to plop some of these down. These just need to fill the ground, to be honest. I'm going to cover them up. They look like a kind of base tone. I can even change this to be, I can alt pick that and make it a slightly different. Just play about those levels a bit. Right, and just imagine this is like the underlying dirt. Press Y to flip it round, X to flip it horizontally, 4 for a little bit of opacity there, Y. Okay, back to the grass. I should have saved the bloody colours. I always forget to save the colours. Always forgetting to save the colours. Save the colours. Okay. So you can save the colours here by clicking. It saves everything now. I'm going to split this so that we've got the sky. In fact, that's another thing I'm going to do today. So split the sky in the 4 colours into their own little tabs, because you don't want to swap the sky out all the time, especially, you know, I'm never going to change the sky now. That's pre-decided, so it's fine. It's fine. Right, looking a little bit samey here. I'm going to change the grass up. Let's do tab a couple of times to sample some nearby colours. So far so good. Yeah, this one's a good one. That is almost exactly what I need, a little bit lighter. So you can see when you come over here, it darkens the background and shows you the, basically shows you the brush. It's hard to see this brush because it's so kind of faded and thin, and but that is working quite well. A little bit of rotation. This is actually working out quite good, guys. I've never expected this to look this good. Seriously didn't. I've used up 236 out of my 2048 plots. I like these numbers. 2048. Anyway, okay, so go for a darkish green, control click it so that everything gets that tone. I'm going to bring the opacity down because I need to work on this sort of shadowed area here, but it's not too bad, by the way, not too bad. This bit's a lot darker. I can always darken it later, but I'm getting the style that I wouldn't have expected, so I quite like it. plop some of this in for a little bit of variety, little rotation. So I'm just using E and R to rotate. All the keys are here, by the way. You've got L to export layers, Control S to save the image, X and Y to flip, I to toggle the background gradient, so you can turn that off and on, just in case you just want to see nothing. V and Alt V to change layer. I never really use that, just click P for the parallax effect, which we can kind of see. B to toggle the brush on and off, just in case. I should really have a kind of status there or something. E and R to rotate, and C to cycle through the colors. So you can do C and then Alt and C, Alt, C. And it only cycles through these colors, not the gradient. Brackets or mouse wheel to scale up, scale down. So you can use the brackets, kind of like Photoshop. Backspace, clear and reset. Oh, don't touch that button. I need to have a warning on that button actually, just in case you press it by accident or your cat comes and stands on your keyboard. You would lose everything. Because I don't have any way to back this up. It's only an alpha at the minute, so. But I'll definitely. Just imagine that. Just imagine I just did all this work. At least I documented it, right? So you should record everything you do. Oh, just become a streamer, just for the sake of your cat standing on your backspace key. Anyway, these things happen. Cats. Damn cats. Right. Okay, cool. That's not bad. I'm mumbling now. I don't know what I was talking about. Oh yeah, I've got this kind of stylized look. Let's go a layer below and make a kind of light brownish colour. Now I'm going to control click to give everything that tone so that I can just make variations really easily on each one. There's some flowers and things in here, but we don't really see those. But they'll add a bit of texture, to be honest. Now I've gone behind because there's a few little kind of brown, kind of wispy highlights here. So press X every now and again, rotate a tiny bit, and that's pretty cool. Right, so if anyone's just joined, this is what I'm making. It's a plein air painting on Maddie's Discord, and I thought I'd give it a challenge. It being Wednesday and all that, and it's usually Maddie's day, but I don't think she's actually streaming. Yeah, she's not streaming today, so I'm streaming instead. So you've got me and me showing off, as usual, my tools of the trade, because that is basically what I used to be. Why does that look weird? Looks very pixely. It's because probably the size that I made it, and it stretches it to, yeah. So the definition, that's not that big. Most of these brushes are about 500 pixels or something. Okay, so yeah, I'm just showing off my tools of the trade here, and hopefully you guys like what I'm doing. So you can bring in just the flowers and just these bits if you want, and get even more tones. Right, I'm gonna go for this orangey brown. I don't know if I want to go with that brush anymore. Let's go for, I like this one. Some little highlights here and there. So yeah, I made this tool to make life easier to make backgrounds, and I'm complicating the crap out of it right now just by making something look a bit different from what I've been doing before, which is less painterly looking, very slapdash, just to see what bugs I need to fix and things like that. Got this patchy bit in the foreground. So I can use any sort of brush. This mountain one, I think I can like blurp out all these and just be left with the, it's got a bit of a ghosty look at the top there, but if I flip it round you won't see that. And I'm just cheating because I don't have many brushes. Right now I'm just using what I've got. You can hold down the top left, I think it's the inverted apostrophe key or something, to paint when you're way out here. Because when you come out of this kind of working zone, it doesn't let you paint anymore, but holding that key down, it's kind of like because you might accidentally click some of the UI, and if you're holding that key down, it doesn't react. The UI doesn't react, so it lets you paint. And I've just painted on the sky there a couple of times. It's okay, I've got an undo button at least, what can I say? Right. Go back to the grasses. Ah, that's a good one, because now we can just use these. Now this brush is made up of different things, but you can see I can bring out all these other features with these sliders and basically just be left with the little wispy bits. And that is perfect because I need those little brown bits in the background there. And not as light as that, but I want to make them be seen. Yeah, that's more like it. See, adding all this little detail just makes it come together quite nicely. I need some little shrubs and bushes, so I'm going to use tab a few times, see if it will sample some nearby colours, and that is not bad. Bit of rotation. Cute, right, cool. Just a little highlight in these little bits. Make it a bit more autumny. Autumny. Automate. Let's put some bamboo back here, but let's make it brown. Brown bamboo. Control clicks so everything gets that. F2 to reset all the tones. I'm going to tab here because there's some tones that I like. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'll just darken a couple and make that less green. The hardest bit of this tool is getting your colors and things right, but to be honest, I think it's fine. I think you need to stop complaining. Everybody complains, especially me. I think I need to stop complaining. Right, I just wanted that little, there's a little kind of shrub there that I'm trying to get in. Right, so far I'm at 343 plots. I'm going to press enter so you can see the whole process up to this point. This is a little feature. And that's it. So that's a little play forward. Now I've got this tree that sits here. This one. You can see my tones are completely different from this one. I could maybe layer them in later, but I quite like this pastel-y sort of look that I've got so far. And right, I should decide which layers. I can toggle layers as well. Now I'm going to go in front of these. I'll do these trees. Right, what trees have I got? I don't want two very identical trees from the get-go. I want, yeah, that's not good. Maybe use that one. So 0, F2, reset anything, tab to get different colors. Yeah, that's not the kind of tree though. I need more trees for sure. Don't have the right kind of stems or nothing. Need more trees. Gonna need more trees. Definitely don't have the trees that I want. Yeah, there's no way I'm going to get that, so I'll use some shapes. I've got a few shapes I can use. Got rectangle 1. Don't think that's going to work out. So give it a go anyway. Get that. Having doubts. Don't like this being so a harsh shape. I know I'm going to disguise it up with some other bits and pieces, but it's just the thought of using something like that. Oh, I've got branches somewhere under foliage. I did them the other day. These might do the trick. Yeah, I think I'll just have to wing this, really. I'll just need to wing it. Well, let's use that shape to start with, right? Somewhere over here. I'll disguise it up there. You'll see the magic that will have to work to make this look good. There's always a bit of magic that can get worked into these. Right, that is basically that's my tree. Need more brushes, Rob. More brushes. Definitely need tree stuff. I'll take a note of that. More tree stuff. Trees. Right. These will be in the next update, guys. They will be in the next update. Oh God, it looks awful. Okay, back to our foliage. Branches 0. I need a highlight color. This is the trickiest bit. So I'll just plop this in somewhere like that. Winging it, completely winging it. Let's make this a more creamy tone. Let's make that a bit darker. I need to make that darker to highlight. I want to make it look like a highlight, so I'll just go for something like that. And let's put some here, make that a bit darker again. Let's pick this color. Okay. And the rest is going to be like pretty much covered up. So I'll just make sure that's kind of palish enough to work up here. Okay, that's the tree, at least. Let's use some different leaves. Yeah, let's use these ones. Pick some of these colors. So that's much more, there's much more contrast in these ones. They got a little bit of saturated green. If I make them nice and small, I can kind of get there. Funnily enough, like in the photograph, it almost looks like the same brush. There. Like it's almost like the same little shrub. So that actually suits me very well. I can more or less do the same thing. More or less. And I've got a couple that look pretty decent, so I can mix these up a little bit. But I'll just go for something generic. It doesn't have to be one-to-one. One-to-one is for strange people, robots, namely, that want everything kind of perfect, and yeah. Nothing's perfect. It's full of your own signature mistakes. Like, they're not mistakes, they are your signature. Right? It's not a mistake, it's a signature. It's not a bug, it's a feature. So I'm just gradually plotting a few of these down, hiding my janky looking tree. Totally winged it with whatever I had available. I'm going to make a few of these a bit darker actually, because there's a few in the shade. There's a few in the shade back here, and I really need to get a few of those down. You can still use the pen, by the way, if you want to. You can use your graphics pen. It just doesn't have any pressure sensitivity. There's no real need for it. I mean, trying to get that to work actually in Blip Paint was a nightmare, and it still doesn't work. It had to do a few hacky things, and it was really bad. So I don't really need that hassle. Thank you very much. Thank you for the offer, but no thanks. It's looking okay-ish. Is this green's a bit too light for those areas? That's better. And just rotating and scaling, that will give me enough variation. Swapping every now and again will also give me a bit of variation there. Just make sure I go lighter as I go to the outside. Less contrast. It's a bit too saturated. The cool thing is the parallax effect will look kind of nice with that. It's my favourite feature of this. I'm always selling it. Contains parallax. Doom, 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 doom. Right. That is as good as it gets. Now we can't do any clipping masks or alpha lock. This is never going to do that. Ever, 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 ever. So you just have to treat it like paint. In real paint, you don't get alpha locks and clipping masks. You might get masking tape or masking fluid, but even then, not everybody uses those, and use them very occasionally. Too much hassle to set up. It takes away the joy of things. You're getting a bit too mechanical there. Maybe. I mean, masking tape is kind of the limit. Look at that, just a tiny bit of texture. And it's good, right? So all it needed was just something to break up the look of that a bit. And now I can put in some more grass. That one's quite good. Let's tab and get some local colours. That one's nice. It's a little bit less opacity. No, go full. Let's go full opacity. Let's just change this green to be something nearby. Just bring it out a bit. Yeah. Okay, some more grass. Let's go for this one and just pop in a few of these. Gonna make that a little bit lighter. I want it to really show. Even more. Much more yellow. Yeah. So it's just all about layering up the detail. You know, when you go a walk in the fields on a nice day, you admire all these little things that you don't think about. Like, all right, these all seem a bit kind of pointless to think about, but when you see these little things, you admire the way the sun hits the top of the hay, and just the like glistening of water on the grass or something. Like, these are the little things that you start to see in a picture, and you go, that's what you start observing when you're out walking. You're looking at these things. They take your mind off everything else. They're fascinating. There's a lot of things to find fascinating in nature. So yeah, don't feel weird that you like these things. That's perfectly human. Who knows, even animals probably have a sense of appreciation for these things. In today we are animals, right? Anyway, enough of the weird talkings. See, that's gone like pixely again. Why is that going like that? Oh. It's when I flip it horizontally. Okay, there's another little bug. Brush preview. Weird. Flip X issue, right? I think I might know what that might be. Yeah, I know how to fix it. Right, just a little few bits in here. Right, the big tree in the foreground is going to be the hardest thing. How the heck am I going to do that? Right, let's go back to this layer. Let's choose a tree. I feel like just plopping in any one of my trees. But that won't be good. It's not a good tree. That tree's actually not far from it. By the time I cover the ground up a bit, it's actually pretty close. I'll just go with that tree. Heck it, I can really... It's like a tree growing out of a tree. Like, I see a tree here, but then there's all this. It's funky. It's a tree with a tree growing out of it. So I'm going to put this in. I'm going to cover the ground up later. So I just want to place it to that point. It's not the most perfect tree, and I want to get some colours right first, especially for the base. I'm not too worried about the leaves. So I'm just going to check, see if anyone's been chatting to me. No. No one's been chatting to me yet. Okay. Feel free to chat, by the way. I'm here. I can kind of see the chat. I can see it well enough. Yeah, cool. Right, so I'll plop that tree in there. There. Okay. And I wonder if I can actually fix this color to be a bit close to start with, and this one, darkish green. That gives me a head start. You know, some of that is brown. Actually, some of that is brown. Yeah, a lot of that is brown. This tree's not designed for doing this, but I'll put that in there. Later I'll cover the branches up. Right, let's go for the same leaves. I think is fine, so go for my leafies. And again, I never copied the colours here, so I'll just press tab over the area, hopefully get something close. That's close enough, and then I'll tweak these up a bit. See, I've got light tones and dark tones. Maybe I'll start with the dark tones, makes sense, right? Because that's going to be overlapped with the highlights. It starts to look a bit samey, so I'll just make sure I flip, rotate a bit and go over some patches. I don't want this to look too procedural, you know. I can switch out to the other ones. These ones are a bit more sparse. Just make sure I get a kind of unique look from those. So do all these dark tones first. Oops, it was tiling. Put tiling on. Not for this. I'll leave a few gaps for other stuff. This tree is like way up here. There's a whole nother bunch of branches as well, so let's just throw in some branches while we're at it. Let's store these colors because I'm going to swap this for a slightly brighter green and brown. Slightly brighter. So undo that one. I want to pop in a few of these just in case our eye sort of determines that this doesn't look like a proper tree. We need to see the branches sometimes, just every now and again, here and there. So I'm at 618 plots. I've got the frame rate down to 34 frames per second. That's, so I'm hitting frame rate a little bit because there's so much happening in my little world here. Let's flip and gonna go there. Let's choose a different one. So you can just make loads of variation just by flipping and rotating. Sometimes I find when I'm painting, I'll accidentally like make something symmetrical, and I'll be like, oh, I never meant to do that. So you get away with a lot, put it that way. Right, let's put some here actually. All right, that's gonna do that. I'll store that color set for the branches. So I'm going to recall the leaf one, so I'll right click there, and that's me got my dark leaves back. Let's plop a few dark bits here and there. These brown bits actually work quite well. You sometimes see those. I can use Control and E and R to sort of move a little bit quicker. Right. Frame rate's getting hit hard, so what I can do is I can hide some layers. I'll claim back some frame rate, so 30 frames per second there. 35, 37, 38. Okay, up to 43. So I've just hid some layers. And that way I can kind of focus on this tree as well. Right, so 42. I can even turn off the background, but that's useful. I can just focus on the tree. Focus on the tree. Okay, that looks good. Maybe a bit more green-ish. It's more of a darker tone there. That'll be the light tone then. Greeny brownish. That's cool. Right, start plopping in some of these ones. I'll kind of go like intermediate, then light, so this is like the intermediate tones. And again, I'm making my own little kind of changes. I'm never going to get this one-to-one. It's not the intention anyway to get this like 100% one-to-one to that. It's supposed to be, it's not like some job you're at and they're like, it must be accurate photorealism. No, I don't like photorealism. I like stylized, because if you want photorealism, just go and take a photo. Seriously. It's like, come on. It's a no-brainer. I'll give you photoreal. Right. And then this one's a little bit more sparring. Some highlights over here. Little bits here. Just need to make sure I stay at the top of these little clusters to give them that 3-dimension. Now I'm just going to press 5 for half opacity as well to help blend those tones a bit better. And I'll just keep pressing E just to rotate as I go. So E is constantly held down. You can see the rotation angle changing down here. Right, cool. I'll store that color set. I'm going to make these colors really dark, more greeny, a bit like that, a bit darker. 7 or 8, yeah. Let's go 7, and again I'm just going to now darken some of those areas in there, really give this some depth. Need to sort of push and pull some of these tones around. And I think that looks pretty good. The tree could use a bit of work, so I'll get my whatever brushes I've got. Really, I've got this land one is my favorite one to use, so I'll press F2 to reset, tab, get some colors that I like, rotate, and go for a bit brighter than that. It's almost like reddish sort of brown. Yeah, a bit like this. I'm just gonna pop in a few of these. There's only so far I need to go because there's going to be grass in front of this. Cool. So layer above, go for some grasses. Choose this one. I'll bring back some of these other layers. Okay, that one and that one. And I'm working here. Right. Let's tab a few times, get some colors we want. Hide a lot of this stuff. I need to hide some of this bits. Let's just do control. Let's alt pick here, control click there, makes everything the same. And I can just want to like cut away some of this just by painting over it. Is literally like real paint. Just want to paint over it with some colors. Cows. Right, and that's made the tree a bit closer. It's not 100% perfect, but it's a lot closer. And then I can go over that with some grass blades. There's little grass blades here and there. This is nearly as long as a Photoshop process for painting. In some cases it might even be the same length of time. In this case, actually, I could probably have produced the same thing in Photoshop in the same length of time. Just take these out, don't need these. Just want a single tone, much more greeny thatty. That's how I describe my colours, greeny thatty. A bit of greeny thatty, please. Things in the foreground here. There's a few sort of darker patches. Let's put a little bits of bamboo in just to help make it look like little reeds and weeds and things. You'll never be able to tell if that's supposed to be bamboo or not. It's just like little suggestions of plants and things. Right, I think that's good. Let's bring all the other layers on. And I think it's not bad. I've not got the shadow for the tree, so let's add that in. I'm just going to use grass, use a dark grass on that same layer, or the layer, yeah, that layer at least, and then really low opacity, and just going to dash around a bit. It's a really long shadow actually. Let's see if I can just use this thin line. Thin line one, yeah, this big thin line. Let's go behind the tree. Right, so do that, and then go for some foliage again. Make this really small and just kind of help, you know, break that up a bit. Not the best way to do it at all, but I don't really know. And then I'm just going to tab a few layers in front just to get a little bit of breakup from that, because I can see some of the grass overlaying it in the foreground. And also just behind it, you've got to make sure you get rid of that harsh line there. It's supposed to be a shadow, so make it look like a shadow. And there we go, pretty much. I think I would want to make this fog layer maybe a bit, yeah, so you can see I can control that, and that just helps make that pop a bit more. I don't need that as much. Almost looks like a reflection without that part. That's that tree. A little bit there. So there we go, there's the result. There's that one, the before sort of thing, and then my background designer one. So it should be a tileable background. You can see the frame rates hit heavily. It's constantly drawing every single brush plot, and I used 1249 plots. So let's go through those. I'm going to press enter and watch what happens. This is the full process. Every little plot, it's all just it's not like brushing like in Photoshop. It's every plot of every predefined little brush. That's it. Got down to 20 frames per second. It's also screen recording, so it's got some lag. I'm going to save this. Fingers crossed it's worked out okay. So this is called a Plein Air. I think that's how you say it. Right. Once the scroller starts moving, that will be saved. Saving it at double resolution. I just want to check it Photoshop. Scale it down to HD so they get some smoothing back. Any other sort of effect I want to do there, I can do. I just want to check it's good. Plein Air. Okay, hopefully, yeah, it looks the same. So image size is that. Resample by linear, and I'll change that to 1920. Look, actually 1920, and that will give us a little bit of the jaggies are now kind of softened. So Control 1 shows us the actual resolution. I'm going to copy the layer and do Control L and just kind of tighten up the levels a bit. And that is pretty much it, like that. Another thing I like to do is do the filter gallery, and go to artistic paint daubs. Paint daubs, pal. Where are you? Paint daubs. And turn off the sharpness and make the brush size kind of smallish, because there's a little kind of blurry effect. You can see how that kind of makes it look a bit nicer, and then duplicate that layer and go to filter stylize oil paint, and you can get even more stylization from that. You can do some like bristle detail and lighting as well. Get a little Van Gogh happening. And so you can do that, and then sort of choose how much of that you want in. A little bit of texture. How much of that do you want in? And there we go. There's my converted image. So, and then another thing you can do is file that's got not merge it. Copy that one that I never changed. Make a new document. Paste that in there. Make the image size 320 across by 180. Right, super tiny now, and then go to filter, image mode, index color, flatten layers, yes, and you can basically choose noise, diffusion amount. Make a little pixel art one. Now that color palette is horrible, so just go for local adaptive, maybe do like 16 colors or 8 colors. Local selective, local perceptual, don't do much different. I think 16 is a nice, maybe 24 actually. Diffusion, tiny amount of diffusion, and then we get a little pixel art looking thing. That looks great. Like, the only thing I don't like is this base of the tree, and I like it being dark green, but just the texture that you get from that, pretty cool. But this, yeah, this is looking nice. Thanks for watching the stream. I will go and take a break, but if you want to check out Backdrop Designer, it's on itch, and it's on ArtStation. Background Designer, or Blip Paint is the other one, the older one, if you want to play with that. So that's the full process right there. The parallax mode is on, I think. Well, there's parallax mode. Looks kind of weird because of the way the layers are, but that looks pretty smooth, apart from the frame rate. I don't have any way to save this file just yet as well, so I need to work on file saving. But it's getting there. Also need to work on some sort of optimization methods to make it perform a bit faster, but I'm going to press escape now, which means I'll lose everything. Are you sure? Done. Catch you guys in the next stream. Thanks for watching, and take care, and feel free to use this in post your work. Look forward to seeing what you make with it. Bye for now. Bye for now. Bye for now.